Hello, welcome to my first ever Ask Me Anything / Your Assumptions About Me video. There's been a lot of new faces that have been showing up around here, so I figured it was time to do a kind of reintroduction of myself, and I thought letting you guys ask the questions about what you wanted to know was kind of a fun way to do it. I did it on my Instagram in my stories and let you guys submit it through the question box, but going forward, because I have a lot of different followers on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok, I think what I'll do next time, if you guys are interested in another one of these, I'll make a short form video and post it, and then you guys can comment whatever you want answered, and then I'll take all of those comments and I'll answer them in a future video. I just wanted to get that out there, but with all that being said, now I'll start answering the questions and assumptions that you guys have. So the first assumption was, you have ADHD just because of how many projects you've started, LOL. Yes, that is true. I do have ADHD. I got diagnosed officially in September of 2023. Growing up, it was not something that I thought that I had. I always did my homework on time. I got good grades. I was very diligent about getting my homework done because I had a lot of anxiety about not getting stuff like that handed in, and then my teachers being upset with me or mad at me, which obviously anxiety and ADHD also goes hand in hand. I considered myself a fairly organized person, but I'm organized when it comes to some things, but then an absolute mess when it comes to other things. My craft room really needs to be cleaned. If you could see around me, it's just in heaps and piles everywhere, and it would be much better if I could get everything in its place. But then the thing is, once something is in its place, it's in its place, and I don't like it to move. But getting the diagnosis definitely explained a lot about me when the doctor was asking all of the questions, was it like this growing up? Was it like that growing up? I was like, oh, yeah, no, that's me, okay. It made a lot of things make sense, which was good, because previous to my diagnosis, I was just my brain is broken, there's something wrong with me, no one else is like this. Meanwhile, there are lots of people that are like this. So the diagnosis has been really helpful, and I work with a therapist, and so it's been really good. I'm the type of person that likes to have explanations for things, so because I'm just what is wrong? It's not that there's anything wrong, and there's lots of ADHD traits that I have. I would say that my creativity definitely stems from my ADHD. All of the different crafts that I've worked on and all the different hobbies that I've tried has stemmed from all of that. It's definitely a blessing and a curse when it comes to ADHD. So the next question is there a crafty hobby you've tried which you didn't like? So I have this problem where if I'm not good at something off of the bat, it makes me irrationally angry, and then I just want to give it up. One craft that I really want to get into, but I've tried it and it made me so angry, was knitting. I don't hate knitting. I just am not good at it yet, and I need to just keep pushing through, but because I'm not good at it, and then I have so many other things that I'm working on right now, I just haven't taken the time to sit down and do that yet. One day I will figure that out, but currently I would say if I had to pick something, that it's got to be knitting right now. And I'm sorry. I will get better at it, I promise. I have the porcelain sweater on my vision board that I would love to learn how to knit because I think it's so beautiful. One day I will get there. So the next question was actually two questions, and it was, have you always been crafty, and what's your day job? So to answer the first one, I would say I've always been crafty. I definitely inherited my creativity from my dad. Growing up, I loved scrapbooking and photography, bracelet making, building little bird houses, anything that you could think of, really, until I got adult money, and then I was able to do even more things. But yes, I definitely have always been crafty. So the second part of that person's question is, what is your day job? And Dead Tree Lovers is my day job. Dead Tree Lovers is my business, or it's at least what I am trying to grow into a more flourishing business. To give kind of a backstory to all of this, and we're going a number of years back now. When I first met my now husband, we were both working jobs that we didn't like, but I at that time had not fully decided what I wanted to do yet and what I wanted my future career to look like. I was in accounting and payroll at the time. Fun fact about me, I love math, but that just wasn't the type of math that I was like, ooh, exciting. When I met my husband, he had started learning how to code. He worked his butt off, self-taught himself how to code. And then it got to the point where he was like, I can't keep going to my job that I absolutely despise. Like, he was working shift work. It was not an enjoyable job. Anyway, he got to the point where he was like, okay, like, I think I can really start applying for jobs. And I was like, you know, it's also hard for you to be constantly on this schedule and applying for jobs. Like, we agreed, why don't you quit your job? I will keep my job, and then you'll be able to apply for jobs. And like, how long could, you know, getting a job really take? That was in January of 2020, at the end of January 2020. And what hit in March of 2020? I ended up being the sole earner for us for just over a year until he finally got a job in tech. I'm so proud of him and everything that he's worked for. However, I was still working a job that I did not like. I loved the people that I worked with, which I think was the only thing that was getting me through. But because we were in accounting and payroll, my job actually amped up during that time. We got super busy. Point being, we got to the point where my husband found a steady enough job where eventually it was like, okay, you are now in a job that you don't like. I've found the passion that I love. Now it's time for you to explore your passions and figure out what that is. I remember being on a walk with him. It was either like 2021 or 2022. He was like, a day in the life that you would love to have. Like, what does that look like? And I was like, well, I mean, if we're talking about absolute perfect life, I have a little studio or a craft room where I get to do my arts and crafts all day long, and I somehow get to make money at that. And I don't know how to do that, but that is what I would love to do. And then that got put on the back burner for another couple of years. And then I really got into reading again. I decided I'm going to start a Bookstagram account. So I started that. It was also September of 2023. And I thought, wow, like, people are making money at this, reading, reviewing books. Like, this is crazy. That would be so awesome if that's something that I could do. And then eventually, as my Bookstagram kept going and I was posting more about books, I was also doing like some of my crafty stuff. And I was like, I really want to post about my crafts also, but I don't know if people would be into that. And so I asked, and I was really only posting on Instagram at that time. And I was like, is this something that you guys would be interested in if I kind of diversified my content a bit? And the majority of people said yes. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go for it. Funnily enough, I don't really post about books anymore. If I do read a book and I like it, I'll like post in my stories, and I have a highlight on my Instagram where I have all of my book ratings that I've ever posted about. So that's also where Dead Tree Lovers, the name, comes from, is because it started off as my Bookstagram account and it's just stuck, and I love the name. Like I said, it's my business name. I don't want to get rid of it. It means a lot to me. So if you're ever wondering where that came from, that's that. In all transparency, I have been working at building this business for almost 2 years now, and I have made just under $40. I fully encourage people, if you want to start an account or crafty account or whatever your niche is, if you want to start an account and make money at it, I fully think that you should do it, but also don't think that off the get-go you're going to be making a lot of money. That being said, I am in Canada and we don't have things like the Creator Fund or like Reels incentives when you post. Like, we don't get paid to post. Maybe if I was a US creator, that would be different, but that's not the case. So I would love to get to the point where this is sustainably able to pay my bills. But right now I'm just in the process of growing. I'm so thankful that people have been really responding to my content lately. It just feels like it's finally, like, all of the hard work that I've been putting into it, I feel like it's finally starting to pay off, and it's a really good feeling. The next assumption was, you seem like the aunt where everyone looks forward to going to her house. I would love to be that. My only nephew lives really far away, so I don't get to see him as often as I would like, but I did watch my cousin's kids last summer, and they love Taylor Swift. So I put together like this little Taylor Swift day for them where we put on the concert on the TV. We did friendship bracelet making, and I printed them off little VIP passes, and I did their nails, and it was a lot of fun. I love doing stuff like that. On my Pinterest board, I have a bunch of kids crafts saved for the day that maybe I do, but thank you, because that is a very kind assumption about me. So that was really nice. So the next question that I have is, do you like pockets? I love pockets now. I know that you're like, how could you ever have not liked pockets? I had this thing where, especially like on dresses and stuff, if it had pockets, it actually bugged me because then like the seam wasn't fully flat. The aesthetics of it drove me crazy. And then I learned the error of my ways and that everything needs to have pockets all of the time, always. And if I'm wearing a dress that doesn't have pockets, I will for sure be wearing a pair of bike shorts underneath that does have pockets so that I can still carry things around. Plus, I will just never not be wearing a dress without wearing bike shorts underneath. That is a winning combo, and no one can convince me otherwise. The next question is, are there any projects you decided weren't worth continuing with? I do have a couple projects on my long ass list of projects, specifically a couple paintings that I was planning on doing, and I haven't fully decided if I'm going to move forward with them yet. It's something that I've gone back and forth on because on one hand, one of the paintings is really sentimental to me that I had planned on doing, but at the same time, I don't know that I'd be able to fully do it justice the way that I want it to be done. I don't know if I'm going to move forward on a couple of them, but that's something that I'm just kind of leaving for future Caitlin to make the decision on when the time comes for those. As for other projects that I have started but then decided that they weren't worth continuing, I don't know that that happens very often. Actually, looking, I have this painting on my desk that was actually one of the things when I said with the cousins for the Taylor Swift day. We had done some painting the next time that I watched them, and I started doing this painting based off of like something that I had found on Pinterest. I don't know. I like the trees and the mountains are okay, but I don't love it. And so that has been sitting for almost a year now. And I don't know if I'm going to go in at any point and try to finish it. It really was just me painting along with them. So I don't know that there's many projects that I have like fully given up on yet. I'll keep you posted if I do change my mind on that though. Someone made the assumption, I feel like you would give very fun book recommendations. Funnily enough, as I already said, I was a Bookstagram account, and if you're ever looking for book recommendations, I have a whole highlight on my Instagram with all of my book ratings. I've definitely missed some along the way as I was going through it before I made this video to see what I had in there. Auto-buy authors for me are Elsie Silver, Canadian cowboy romance queen. Love her. I love anything Emily Henry. I eat up all of her books. I love them so much. Off of Elsie Silver, I was really into cowboy romance, and I started reading the series The Edens, which the first one is called Indigo Ridge. I loved that book. I think it's one of my favorite books that I've read of all time because not only was it like cowboy ranch romance, but then it also had a mystery element to it. So then that book really got me into reading mysteries. Then there's this book that I read this past Christmas, and it is Christmas themed, but it's a mystery book, and I really enjoyed reading that. So I really want to find some more mysteries going forward because I think those are the type of books that are really sucking me in right now. The next question is, what are your favorite hobbies from the long ass list of hobbies? Should I do a top 3 or 5 situation maybe? We'll do a top 3 because I feel like 5 is, a lot of hobbies. I love watercolor painting. It's absolutely my favorite painting medium to work with. I just think the end result is so beautiful. I love the way that it works on the paper, how you can manipulate it, and I just think it's one of the prettiest mediums out there. When it comes to fiber arts, crochet, hands down, is my favorite method. I love it. Maybe I'll change my mind when I eventually learn how to knit. But for right now, I would say that crochet is definitely on the list of like my top 3. See, this is a problem actually with ADHD because my brain is currently going, those are the only 2 hobbies that you have. Other than I have my sewing machine right behind me and I'm looking at it, but I'm like, I don't know that sewing falls into my top 3 because I still feel like I'm at the point where I'm not like super great at it. I love the dresses and the things that I've made from it, but it also still like stresses me out when I go to do it because it's not just like automatic. But this is what I've done to try to help combat and like cope with some of my ADHD symptoms is I write lists of things that I like to remind myself when I get into like, I don't want to call it a brain fog, but just like my brain goes blank and it's like, you don't know what you like to eat. You don't know like what you like to do for fun. So I try to keep these lists so that I can go to them and be like, oh yes, okay, that's things that I like to do. I would say that my 3rd favorite hobby is coloring. Tell me why. I'm like, oh yeah, my 3rd favorite hobby is definitely coloring. I have published a coloring book. and I forgot that it was one of my favorite hobbies. So, I feel like that says a lot about how my brain works. And then the last submission, which isn't a question and it wasn't an assumption, but I just thought it was really nice, was, I've just found your account and now I have my own list of to-dos. Thank you. Didn't mean that in a sarcastic way. I think they meant it in like a genuine, like, I got it together way. Not that I have it together. I am far from having it together, if you couldn't tell from the contents of this video. But I've gotten comments like that a lot, where people are like, you've inspired me to create my own list, or, I'm tackling my own pile of projects. Thank you so much. Putting yourself out there in your content and having people relate to your situation or the thing that you're going through, the thing that you're doing. This series that I've been doing has popped off in a way that I've never experienced before. Connecting with so many like-minded people, so many crafty people. I obviously hoped that people would love and connect with my content, but I never thought that I would have people like thanking me for the content that I make. I don't even know how to describe it, honestly. Like, there are much more important people that exist in this world than me, but I also just think right now, with everything that's going on, it's really important to still find moments of joy and remember the things that make life worth living, because it is worth living. We as people are worth being on this earth and enjoying the one life that we have. And if that means using that time to make little projects for either yourself or gifting it to others or learning a new hobby, whatever it may be, you need to spend your time doing what you love as much as you can, and don't let anyone tell you otherwise. I heard someone say the other day this concept of doom crafting, and I feel like it's very applicable to right now. And I just want you guys to know, if you ever want to have like deeper talks in either comment sections or come into my DMs, and like, that's always open. I'm always here to engage with you guys and just actually make this a community where we're supporting one another through thick and thin. So my hope is that you feel like that was a bit more of an introduction to who I am and some of the wonders that you've had about me or my channel. And if you like this video, I'm totally into making another one. Just let me know in the comments if this is something that you'd be interested in again. I would love to make another one and answer more questions that you guys might have. So now I hope that you have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys next time.